Joining us is parliamentarian Dr. Subramanian Swamy, someone who's been leading this public movement, if I may say so, justice for Sushant Singh Rajput. Dr. Subramanian Swamy, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. And you've been spearheading this entire public movement, which is just gathering more and more momentum. Dr. Swamy, you've spoken to the Chief Minister of Bihar this afternoon, and he's also been speaking about what Republic Media Network and Dr. Swamy, you've been talking about, demand for this case to be transferred from the Mumbai police to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Dr. Swamy, tell us a little bit more about the conversation that you've had with the Bihar Chief Minister.
Well, first of all, let me begin by saying that I'm very happy to see K.K. Mannan on your debate. He's one of our finest criminal lawyers. I've known him for a very, very long time, and right from the time he was just a very, very young lawyer, fresh from college. And he has lots of credit to him, and he has summarized the issues very, very succinctly just now. The issue is this, that Sushant Singh Rajput was on hale and hearty, and then suddenly there's an interlude of perhaps his having some psychological problems. We don't know whether it's induced or not, that only inquiry can say. And then he is found dead. And they say that he had, the people who were there, who opened the door, it was not the servant, but there were some guests who had stayed overnight, I believe. They said that he had hanged himself by the belt of his bathrobe. And then it is found that later on, investigation showed the tensile strength of that bathrobe is not enough to support his weight. Furthermore, there wasn't enough gap for him to hang from the ceiling fan, given the size of the bed, the height of the bed and his own height, and the ceiling level. So immediately that issue came. Second, the postmortem only says a provisional postmortem, and it says he died of asphyxiation. Now, asphyxiation can mean loss of breath by a number of ways. He could be found hanging and still have been killed before he was made to hang. So there are a number of things open. What I'm surprised is, as Manan said very clearly just now, that at the moment they found him under unusual circumstances dead, they should have registered an FIR and started the investigation. And they don't have to name names in the FIR. After the investigation, they can have a supplementary FIR and gone about it. But the whole atmosphere I've seen till I came into the picture in, I think, 9th of July, was that I found that there was no progress being made. It was all assumed that it was to be treated as a suicide. And his secretary to be, or who had just been engaged, the secretary, she fell off some 7th floor of an apartment. No investigation has ever taken place on that. So it's been assumed that she committed suicide. Why? There's no motive for committing suicide. So if you go on adding, they take him to a municipal hospital instead of the neighborhood Leela hospital, for which the ambulance had already arrived from the Leela hospital, but they rejected and went there. We don't know why. So a whole lot of things are there. In the meantime, the parents file a complaint with the Patna police, and the Patna police registers an FIR, does an investigation, and then names a prime suspect and gives the sections of the of the IPC which applies to them, to her. So therefore, we now have a situation where it appears that the Bombay police was dragging its feet. We have a situation where a murder is committed or a suicide is committed in Bombay, but the FIR is in Patna. So my opinion is that, as I spoke to the Chief Minister and said, that the best thing that can happen is there should be a CBI inquiry, and both these investigations should be transferred to the CBI.
Dr. Swamy, like you said, I also want to bring in Mr. Manan here. Mr. Manan, the question that has been very clearly raised, there was a mysterious death of the secretary of Sushant, Disha, that took place on July 8th. At that time when it took place, the questions that have been raised in the family's FIR, and I just read from it, is that it was Ria who had appointed Disha, and the family's FIR also goes on to say that not only was she appointed after the death, there was this time when Ria had stopped speaking with Sushant, and at one point the FIR also says that there needs to be some sort of a probe into how and what happened with that. So clearly what Republic TV is saying, there needs to be this smoking gun that needs to be investigated. Don't you think that there needs to be, like Dr. Swamy saying, some investigation at least, or was there some brushing under the carpet of the secretary's death, of how under mysterious circumstances she had died?
Well, you're asking me this question?
With Dr. Swamy, as he said at the...
Go ahead. Go ahead, Manan.
I totally agree with Dr. Swamy, and I'm grateful, thankful, and everybody knows that how we were close, and I came to close to him when I started my practice in 1980. Anyway, it is in between him and me, we are friends. But at the same time, whatever he has said, each and every word is a truth. And the second point, if you remember, day before yesterday, you interviewed me, I elaborated each and everything. This case will not remain just a circumstantial evidence, because if the investigating agency will go and on a right direction, then you will find the eyewitness from the inner circle and the house itself. But the investigating agency, that is the Bombay police, is not investigating the matter properly, and they are hobnobbing with some people who are behind this murder. I said it is not a suicide as so far as asphyxia is concerned. Dr. Swamy has elaborated it rightly. Asphyxia is not one type of asphyxia. It can be in other words, there are number of other circumstances for that. Another thing which is most important in this case is that Bombay police never unfolded, either before the media or before anybody. We are the first people, or you are the first people, I will say, who have unfolded it, that the family members have already in February made a complaint to the higher authorities in Bombay. What had happened, what they have done regarding that complaint. If they have not done anything, meaning by somebody is connived with the murderer, and whoever the accused in this case or the people behind this murder, they should be hauled up immediately, and local police itself or the Maharashtra government should hand over this case to the CBI, or the family members should request the Honorable Supreme Court to Patna as well as this Bombay, both investigations should be transferred to the CBI. All the documents which are in the custody of the Bombay police should be handed over to the police immediately. Otherwise, lot of time has already gone. They will demolish, they will finish the chain of evidence, whatever of the circumstances, or they will not unfold, or they will not allow to unfold the truth before the public.
Well, Dr. Swamy, let me also bring you in here with regards to this latest information that we have. This is with regards to Sushant's family getting in touch with one top Mumbai police officer, that too in the month of February, 25th February 2020. That's when the first time Sushant's family actually got in touch with the Mumbai police's top officer. And as you also were pointing out, what Mumbai police has done so far is that they have not gone beyond the inquest. No FIR has been registered. What does this essentially indicate?
It indicates that Mumbai police is reluctant to get to the bottom of this case. They are pussyfooting, and they in fact should be bending backwards, because they have most of the top policemen of Bombay Police have been social friends of the dadas of Bollywood. They have attended their parties, they have gone on vacations with them, all kinds of things. So therefore, the police has to show that apparently a little backwards to show that they are not influenced by what the Bollywood cartel wants them to conclude. From all over, whatever evidence has come so far through your channels is that there was a preparation to make this out to be a suicide. And now I find that the Bombay police didn't think it fit to seal the flat. In the case of Sunanda, they sealed the flat for 3 years in a hotel room, and the hotel lost a lot of money on that. But they said, no, this is a precaution we have to take. They have not examined any of his electronic communication, that is by cell phones, which they can easily get from the exchanges. But they haven't done that either. There have been a number of SIM cards that he had subscribed to, and these have not been traced. He was doing that apparently, according to some friends of his, because he was getting threats on the telephones for his death. Now we get this sensational thing which you have put out in your channel, and that is that the family had in February alerted the police about this possibility, and they did nothing about it. So it's a very clear case for going to CBI, and this is what I would call as the tipping point of the corruption and the mafia-dom in Bollywood. We must see that Bollywood itself gets cleaned up as a consequence of the exposure that takes place on this unfortunate incident.
Well, tipping point of the mafia-dom as well as the corruption within Bollywood. Republic Media Network assures all its viewers that we'll come to the bottom of the truth. And thank you very much, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, as well as Mr. K.K. Manan, for putting this into perspective. And as we've been saying, that there has been a public movement that has started. There has been a growing chorus for a CBI investigation to take place. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on this broadcast.
And to be especially congratulated.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Thank you.